ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here with another exciting topic. Today we're going to look at the power of the passport, right? Everyone out there, if you are interested in traveling, living abroad, or even teaching abroad, I recommend that you stay tuned. Here at Teachitainer, we cover the lifestyle of living abroad, teaching abroad, and also experiencing new things in your new country. So ladies and gentlemen, today's exciting topic is the power of the passport. So I'm going to talk about the passport, and I'm going to talk about it from a South African point of view. But these suggestions are also an umbrella statement to other governments out there, because we all need a passport. For us to travel around the world, we need the passport, right? So it's an umbrella statement, but I'm going to talk about it from a South African point of view, because I'm South African and I have a South African passport, and that's the one that I actually qualified for, right? So ladies and gentlemen, taking a nosedive, the power of the passport. First of all, how do we get the passport? In South Africa, there's a facility called Home Affairs. At Home Affairs, you are able to apply for specific documents that you need as a South African to do specific things. So that document that we're going to look for is the passport. When you get to Home Affairs, you're going to need specific documents for you to apply for the passport, such as you're going to need ID photos. I think you'll need about 2 or 3 of them. You will also need proof of address or residence. You're going to need maybe a bank account to show also your proof of address. They want to also show, maybe they want to see your birth certificate or your ID, right? The main point at Home Affairs is they want to identify that you are a South African citizen and that you qualify for the passport. So once you filled out the document, you've given the necessary documents that actually come with that, you pay a fee, right? You pay a fee of either 400 Rand to 1,200 Rand, depending the type of passport that you're going to get. So ladies and gentlemen, I do recommend that you get a passport with more documents. That one will be the more expensive one, to range I think about 800 to 1,200, right? Depending again on the province and also where you're going to be applying, right? But I recommend the document one or the passport that has more pages in it, because it helps when it comes to renewing it in the future. So this is my previous passport. This last one had about 32 pages. So I had to go through the process of going back to South Africa to reapply to get a new one, right? And with that new one, I made sure that I had more pages so I can be outside the country for a longer span of time before I have to renew it, right? So ladies and gentlemen, once you've applied for it, you've paid the fee at Home Affairs. The duration time for the passport, it takes about 6 months. That's what it says on the website, right? If you check the website on Google, you will see it takes about 6 months for them to actually issue you out the passport. If you're lucky and you actually come from a province in South Africa that has Home Affairs working much more adequate, you know, and that's able to send the documents to Pretoria very fast, then you'll get your passport maybe in a month or 2 months time, right? Again, all of our documents in South Africa, speaking from a South African point of view, all of them are issued and processed out at Pretoria, right? That's our capital. So ladies and gentlemen, I do recommend that you get this process up and going. So as I said earlier on, today's topic is the power of the passport. So what power does this document give you? As a South African citizen, the first power it gives you is the 53rd most powerful document. This document here is the 53rd most powerful document in the world when it comes to freedom of movement around the world. So what does this mean? This means that I can go to about 62 countries as a South African citizen without a visa, right? Yes, with this list of countries, it will vary. In some countries, I'll be able to stay for maybe 3 months. In some countries, I'll be able to stay maybe only 30 days. Some countries up to 6 months, right? Depending on the country and the relationship the country has with the South African Republic government, right? So ladies and gentlemen, this is very powerful from my point of view. You don't just have the opportunity to travel to new countries, but you are able to take the power that you get with your passport and you're able to look for opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, once you take the opportunity to look at the landscape of which country would you like to go to, utilizing the power of your passport, I recommend that you look at countries that you go to that you can work at, right? So once you receive your passport, you'll need other documents to attach with your passport if you're going to work in a country. Specifically talking about now Vietnam. If you're looking at doing what I've done with my passport, which is teaching abroad, I decided in 2016 to leave South Africa to come to Vietnam and utilize the power of my passport, right, to teach in Vietnam, and that is to teach specifically English. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you need attached to your passport if you're going to decide to teach in Vietnam or other Asian countries? Is you're going to need a couple of other documents. The first document, just to run through the list, is going to be a medical clearance, right? With today's age, with all these diseases coming up, we're going to need a medical clearance to show that you are healthy enough to be able to go to another country, live there, work there, right? And that medical clearance, it needs to be valid for 3 months. So when you receive it in your country, you need to be able to use it for 3 months extra outside the country. And also it needs to go through a specific facility called DIRCO in South Africa that's going to help you certify the document for it to be utilized in another country, right? In some countries they'll ask you also to translate the document into their native language, so it makes it much more easier for them to process the document and see if it's legit, right? So you need your medical clearance. Number 2, you're going to need a police clearance. From South Africa, I think this takes about 5 to 8 days to get your police clearance in South Africa. Sometimes, talking about from my point of view in Western Cape, it took about 8 to 12 days, if I'm correct. This is 2016, before COVID era, and it took about 12 days, I think, right? And it was for free. I'd done my police clearance, and once it came out, it was valid for about 2 months. So I was also able to utilize it in Vietnam. So ladies and gentlemen, that document too will also have to get certified by DIRCO to showcase that it's able to be utilized in another country, right? Speaking about specifically South Africa, South African Embassy here in Vietnam, the South African Embassy here in Vietnam will not certify or notarize any documents anymore. And I think they actually pulled this rule out in 2015. Right, so you have to have everything certified and notarized in South Africa if you're looking at teaching in if you're looking at teaching in Vietnam, and you need to get all your documents from South Africa or your native country. So the third document you'll need, right, is to make sure that you certify and notarize your credentials. You know, your matric certificate, your higher learning certificate, your degree. It needs to get certified. In South Africa, there's a facility called SACA. SACA then actually helps you to get those documents certified and notarized. That process takes about 5 to 6 weeks, right? Also with DIRCO, also takes about 5 to 6 weeks. So it does take time. It needs pre-planning, right? It needs you to be patient. It needs you to see the process through for you to receive your documents, for you to utilize them. So it does take time, right, ladies and gentlemen? But let's prepare. Once you prepare, you are able to make sure that you receive your documents to utilize them in the specific country that you would like to go to. And we're specifically talking about now teaching in Vietnam. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, another extra document you'll need, the fourth one, will be a TEFL certificate. I do recommend that you get a TEFL certificate, one that has practical classes. Yes, the online one is great too, but the one with practical classes, they give you specific skills and knowledge for you to utilize once you start teaching this side, right? That certificate also needs to go through DIRCO for certification, right? And also certified by the Vietnamese embassy if you're going to teach in Vietnam. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are maybe extra little documents that you need to attach to that, but if you're interested to actually teach in Vietnam, you know, going through the whole process, we here at Teachitainer, we have a link in the description below from a company called CBT Agency. They help you by step-by-step process for you to actually start your journey of moving from your native country. It doesn't have to be South Africa, it could be anywhere in the world, right? They help you start the journey from getting all those documents, your passport, your medical clearance, your police check, right, and all other needed documents, such as also your TEFL certificate, right? Go through the process, and then they get you here to Vietnam. They help you find accommodation, transportation, and also what's vitally important, they help you find a job before you leave your country. Ladies and gentlemen, I do recommend, if you want to see that you're working with a partner that's legit, let them show you that you're going to get a job before you leave your country, right? And you're able to actually verify that job. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in that opportunity, check out the link in the description below, and CB Teaching Agency, they'll definitely help you to go through the whole process step by step. I just want to say thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Please go out there, check out what power your passport gives you and how to utilize that power to gain opportunities, especially now that we're going through the big reset that we're going through in 2022. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope to catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for your time. Signing out here at Banzi at Teachertainer. Peace.